Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so tonight, whatever it is, late at night right now. But anyways, I am going to be doing a video of the bestsellers. Um, well, more specifically, Elf's bestsellers. And if I can see why they're bestsellers, I will let you know. I will let you know if I agree, disagree, all that good stuff in this video. So this is according to Ulta's website. So all of this is according to Ulta's website, not Elf's website, because Elf's it didn't have many products to be able to do a video. So I'm like, Ulta's website it is. Okay. So let's get started. My fiance is not here at the moment, by the way. So instead of, the one that I normally use for a, hold on. I'm just reaching for my little mirror. For eyeshadow primer, we're going to go into the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, which is going to be the concealer for everything today. And I have the shade Fair Warm. I'm just touching that. And this is such a better shade match for my skin tone than the other one is, obviously, but it works. And I'm using the Eco Tools Accent Shadow Brush to blend that concealer out. So as you can see, it doesn't have as much coverage. I'm going to say like medium coverage, whereas the original, the matte version of the Camo Concealer is full coverage. But I'm not gonna complain here. And this is minus one product because, of course, I don't have an e.l.f. setting powder anymore. So I'm using the setting powder I have, but it still works the same. So I'm gonna let that dry down really quickly. And while I'm letting that dry down, I am going to go in with my Camo Concealer sponge. I don't use them damp anymore. And I'm just going to have to use the brushes. So I'm leaving the concealer underneath my eyes because I do not know where I put my makeup wipes the other day. I don't know if I left them downstairs or what. So we're just going to improvise today. So I am going to be doing like a bestsellers little addition to my channel. So today it's e.l.f. because I have more e.l.f. makeup than anything else. And I'm gonna see a lot of e.l.f. featured because, like I said, I have a lot of e.l.f. products. Like more e.l.f. products than any other brand at the moment. So thought I'd start with e.l.f. See if I can use any products up, and if not, then we'll try harder. So I have to use at least 5 e.l.f. products up before I be more lenient and use everything else with less e.l.f. Which is totally doable. Don't get me wrong, it's totally doable. And I know I said that I was not. Told myself I wasn't going to put dirty brushes in this bag, but whatever. Alright, this plastic bag is empty now. All my brushes are being used. So it's pretty much now just whatever makeup I'm using for a tutorial type thing. And the reason I'm not using a damp beauty sponge is I rarely use damp beauty sponges anyways. But at the same time, with this concealer being a medium coverage, I've learned that using a damp beauty sponge with this concealer, it kind of loses that coverage that it already rarely has. So you gotta be careful. Alright. So now we're going to set my eyes. Sorry, I said that really weird. So I'm going to take my Real Techniques setting brush. I am going into the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear 3-in-1 setting powder. And I'm going to go into the actual set part of this powder to set my eyes. So I don't use the bright powder until the under eyes. So just a little bit of the set powder, the set part of the powder will do just fine for this job. And now because this does kind of blend in with the concealer, um, I'm I'm still gonna use the lighter colors to start the look to really A, make sure that it stands out, and B, make sure that it you know, helps brighten up the darker colors, especially the browns. The browns can get pretty dark, especially the shade of brown. The shade of brown. The different shades of brown I have. I can't talk because it's late. But I'm also waiting for my fiance to get home from where he's at. So of course, this setting powder is always going to be in this bag now, but I still need it for later. So now we're going to start our eye look. So alright. So you know the drill. We're going to go into the Eco Tools Angled Crease Brush. We're going to go into the cream color in the Bite Size palette in I Love You Latte. This is going to help brighten everything up because today's going to be a pretty dark crease look. So I want it more in the focused in the crease, but I do want it focused on the lid as well. I want it really focused in that crease and up towards the brow bone because it's going to get pretty dark up there. So, pretty bright up there just so it don't get too dark too quickly. And we're going to use another shade to help keep things light too. So of course we have different eyeshadow palettes. So the eyeshadow palettes am using today. Oh, I forgot to say, I do agree with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer being a bestseller. It is so creamy and it's hydrating. So, people with dry skin or combo will really love it because it's the hydrating part that the dry skin needs, but it's not too hydrating where it will make you oily either. But if you have like super oily skin, I would stay away from it just because it is hydrating, so it's more on that dry combo skin. But it's a really good product, and I can see why it's a bestseller. It is really good, and a lot of people do love it. Now, this palette, the bite size palette, I do see how it is a bestseller as well. It's great quality. It's great for the price. $3 for 4 shadows. I can see why, and I do agree with it. Now, the other best-selling shadow palette was the e.l.f. Perfect 10 palette, which I do somewhat agree with. And I'll tell you why. This one's a little more bulkier, so it's still great for travel, but you have to have like a big traveling case for it to work. And I mean, $1 per shadow can't really beat it because it's a $10 palette. But I don't know, the quality's kind of iffy. So would this be a bestseller in my opinion? Maybe. But I do like it. So we're going to go into the fourth shade first to keep things light. And we're going to go in with this awkward little crease brush. So I think this is the only one you're going to hear me say maybe on. Now, like, if you're an older e.l.f. fan who remembers the original 10 pan palette, maybe I could see why, but I have not tried the older packaging. I don't know if the formulas are the same or if they changed the formulas, but for me, it's a maybe product. And like I said, I have so many different eyeshadow palettes that this is going to be a switcheroo throughout the throughout the time that I'm doing these tutorials. Um, Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep the bite-sized palette in the bag too and just keep switching the bigger palettes out, and then might keep CoverGirl Eye Enhancer Shadow in there too for days that I do want it. Or I'll just put it in on the days that I do want it. So this fourth shade, I've blended all the way up. And I'm just going to keep blending all the shades up. So now we're going to go and backtrack a little bit and go into the third shade. Showed you the wrong one. Which is a pretty medium brown. Pretty close to a medium brown. But just a little bit lighter than a medium brown. So light to medium brown. And I like this contrast that this brush is making for this eyeshadow. It's really pretty. So, but, you know me, I'm going to have to go in with the blending brush as well, holding it as far back as possible so everything is blended nicely. Like I said, things are going to get pretty dark with this shadow look pretty quickly, so I'm going to just try my best to blend everything to make sure nothing is too dark. And when I'm done, we can just wipe away the excess with the setting brush. So now we're going to go into more of that shade. Or you know what? I'm just going to put it back in my box. And then whenever I decide to use a product, I can put it in the bag the night before I decide I'm going to do a makeup tutorial. Usually do not get used to tutorials being done on the days I work. I forgot to do it on the days I don't work. So Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be tutorial days. I don't know if it's going to be in every, like, one on Sunday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. I don't know that yet, or every other day I don't work, or what. So, I don't know. But we will see what happens when the time gets here. So we're gonna blend on the other side. Blend, blend, blend. So the reason I use the mid-tone brown first is just again to keep things light before we go into this next shade. Alright, so again taking that same crease brush, going to go into the sixth shade in the palette. And this is as dark as it's gonna get. But I don't know if I'm gonna be putting them back tonight, or if I'm just gonna put them in the bag and put them back tomorrow after work. Just in case I decide I'm gonna wear makeup to work tomorrow. So now we have applied the darkest shade we're going into. So now we need to really get in there and blend. which I'm hoping to be able to get 3 to 4 more tutorials done and then clean my brushes. Or sorry, no. Yeah, sorry. I'm again tired. But like I said, 3 to 4, depending what my schedule allows me to do. And then you know what I mean? Like it just one eye is different than the other and it's making me mad. And I do have eyeliner that I will put on before doing my lid. Alright, so these brushes are done. And this makeup product is done. Alright. So now we're going into the e.l.f. H2O Proof Eyeliner Pen. Okay. So, I can see why this is a bestseller because it is in a pen form, so it's a lot easier to use. It has a felt tip, so it's, again, just a lot easier to use, doesn't transfer. It really is waterproof. It's just great, and in my opinion, I agree with it. It should be a bestseller. Okay. So I've started to like it thick in the middle, but then on the outside with the wing and the inside towards the inner corner. So that's what I'm going to try to do today with this eyeliner. Didn't really work, but it is okay. Sometimes not everything works as planned. But it is pretty cute the way it is. So, I'm not really complaining. So now, we're going to use this flat top brush here. We're going to go into the e.l.f. Bite Size palette again. We're going to go into that second shade. And we're going to apply to the lids. Like I said, I definitely agree with this palette. This is a great palette. And it is extremely pigmented. So, A plus. For sure, A plus in my books. Alright, so this next product should be no surprise to anybody, but it's the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This is the 4% niacinamide version. The original Power Grip was on there as well, but both of the Power Grips I do agree with. I can see why they're extremely popular and why they are bestsellers. The original is a grippy primer that helps you make it adhere to your face so it lasts longer. This one, it does the same thing but has that added niacinamide, which actually has helped brighten my skin a lot. So we're going to go in with this one today. Just like I said, I don't have the original anymore because I had used it all up. So the only slight difference between the niacinamide version besides the niacinamide is the niacinamide one is a bit stickier in consistency, which I actually don't mind at all. Um, for the fact that this is um either way, both versions are going to adhere your makeup. Either way, both versions are sticky or tacky. But this one just, it's a little more stickier, so it's a little hard to spread out sometimes. But once you get it like warmed up on your face, it's a lot easier. So what I do is I'll spread it on my face. I'll let it run down. Once it starts running down, I'll blend it because then I know that it's warmed up. Because I run pretty hot. Or pretty warm. Sorry. Pretty warm. So. So. I'm going to let that sit. This is almost gone. So about a few more uses and we will be done with both gripping primers that we will replenish in our collection once we're done trying new makeup. Which I have a series to be able to do that. So yeah. Alright. So this is pretty good. And I forgot to put my other should have probably in here. Alright. So now poreless face primer. This stuff right here. I can see how some people, sorry, my nose itches, how some people can prefer a poreless face primer that's like this, that's the silicone one, over the putty primer. Okay, so I can see how this is a bestseller. It's nice, though I actually lied earlier. It's nice. It's just, and this is the only disclaimer and bad review about this product, is sometimes silicone primers can break up my skin, cause redness, clog my pores. Like everything that I'm having problems with right now is probably these silicone primers, which I actually found out the Neutrogena one is a silicone primer as well. But that one doesn't do it as bad. Like, if I just use the Neutrogena one on its own, and I wonder if it's just these pore filling primers that are the silicone base that does it. But if you, like, if I just put the Neutrogena on by itself. It's not as bad as when these pore filling primers are on. So that's why I wonder if it's these. So I can no longer use these. So after this, I can't use this one or the Maybelline because it does break out my skin. With that being said, I can continue to use the putty primer. Both versions that I like. So I do like it. It's just that only disclaimer that it breaks out my skin. Know what I mean? So I am going in and putting it all over my face first. Then I'm blending it out with the brush that I use. So this is an all-over primer. The Maybelline one is not an all-over primer. It's just where you have enlarged pores. So I like those kinds better. But both kinds are great if you like silicone primers and they do not clog your pores and cause your face to break out really bad. So now I'm going into the e.l.f. Putty Primer applicator, and we're going to blend this out better. Like, if these primers, like the silicone primers, that are the pore filling silicone primers, if they did not break up my skin and clog my pores and everything, they'd be fine and I'd be able to use them. I am all modified, poreless, all that. So, of course, I can't use the Neutrogena one just because of the fact that it's not e.l.f. So, next primer, which is the e.l.f. Sun Touchable Glow Glow. Again, I can see why this is a bestseller. Like, it has skincare in it, it has your SPF in it, it's a makeup primer, so it's your sun protection and makeup primer all in one. So that's like a plus. You don't have to use moisturizer that has SPF and then go on top with the makeup primer. You can just do this. Has a little bit of a glow to it, and it's just amazing. So I have the shade Sunbeam, which is like the lightest shade that they have. There for a minute, it was the only shade they had, so it was like hard for deeper skin tones to be able to use this product. But now they got it figured out. So what I'm gonna do, because I gotta use foundation too, but the foundation I'm using is also a glow enhancer product. So this feels nice. Yeah. So I am going to have to be careful because I was going to just say, oh, I'm going to use concealer over top of this one and then put it on top, the other part on top. But then I'm like, well, I'm going to have to put concealer on my face twice if I do it that way. So I'm just going to have to, you know, so. But I do love this product and I do agree with it. The nice part about this though, this is not like shimmery or anything, it's just a glow screen. There. It just has luminosity in it. This has the actual sparkle in it, which is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter and the shade 1 Fair. So this is going to be my foundation today. This used to provide the best coverage in the world for me on lighter days, but unfortunately it does not anymore because it is running low. So I'm just glad that I can still use it and love it for the time being. Like you're hearing me have to kind of prounce on it. Not prounce, you know what I mean. Beat on it. So I could not do contour today. Of course, I don't have enough contour anymore. So, of course I'm using bronzer, so I'm just gonna really bronze up the skin. But not too much. Now I'm going into my Real Technique soft accent brush. And the nice thing about this, the Halo Glow, is it's not an exact match to my skin tone, but it's close enough to where um, close enough to where I don't have to do it down my neck when I do it as foundation. I do if I'm like going out into public type thing. But if I'm just staying at home, going and helping with chores around the house after doing makeup, I don't worry about it. Which is looking a lot better just because it has that glow screen underneath. So I need to always use that glow screen underneath when I do it as foundation. So now we're going back into the e.l.f. Camo Concealer and we're going around my whole face. Up here, here. And I'm going into my Camo Concealer sponge to blend that out. And I don't have any e.l.f. highlighter either anymore. So I'm trying to keep it showing through as much as possible, but not too much. It's like just the right amount of no. Like not too much glow showing through, but just enough to highlight my face. Well, at least while the concealer. So I'm guessing that I'm almost out of my concealer already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that it is enough to finish this tutorial. And after that, I'm gonna have to start using a different concealer, which will probably be the L'Oreal. Honestly, I don't know. It might be enough for another tutorial. Not if I can't really scrape the sides. Can't really scrape the sides, then it's completely almost gone. So now I just put it underneath my under eyes, and yeah, I'm gonna say this concealer is done for, yep. Yay! Okay, so we got one e.l.f. product down. So what I'm gonna do now, while I'm letting that, I'm gonna do it a little, my blush a little bit differently. We're going into the e.l.f. Halo Glow Blush Beauty Wand in Rose Youth Light first, which I can see how this is a bestseller. It's very glowy, it's very pigmented, it's very pretty. This shade in particular works as a blush topper than as a regular blush, but I use it as both. As you guys know, I use it as both just because I always layer powder blush over my cream blush, so it's like, it works. So the reason I'm doing it a little bit differently today is so all the glow products is underneath all the matte products. Well, besides the concealer, but that's just the help for the glow products to be there. So we're essentially going to be mattifying our face, starting with cream products. Hi, Camo. Yes, I got a little can of Mo with me. Where'd she go? There she is. Come here, my girly girls. Oh my goodness. Say hi. Say hi, everyone. She's not even looking at the camera. Say hi, everyone. You a shy kitty today. See you a shy kitty today. Yep. She wants over here. She wants to buy mom, but doesn't want in the camera. Respectful of that. I'm gonna try and get this side blended out a little bit more. So we're just gonna go in with a little bit of the putty blush. We're gonna be using this eyeshadow brush. just a little bit off the sides. But first, I gotta warm it up. All that cool jazz. The reason I said that I'm not gonna worry about the bag anymore is because we have plenty of bags like this downstairs. So it's like, if I ever need a new one, I can always get a new one. And I like how both these cream blushes just blend together so nicely. So these are like a great option. Okay, so now we're gonna blend out this concealer, and then we're going to set with powder. Because I can't say all, but most e.l.f. products do dry essentially pretty fast because they're formulated that way. So it's like you can set, usually can set immediately after blending everything out because it's already dry. Okay. So, really quickly, we're going to use this big powder brush to lightly set everything that's right in here. And we're going to use the setting brush to set up here and on the forehead. And then use the bright powder underneath the eyes. So we're going to use the setting powder first. So. And I am going to use the baking powder again real soon. So this is the kind of powder that it sets the makeup, but the makeup underneath still shows through a little bit, but it does cover it a little bit. And this is the reason I use both a actual powder brush and the setting brush is because the powder brush helps press it into the cheeks and the chin area. The setting brush helps it press everywhere else. I mean, I could probably use this for the forehead too, but it's just a little bit too big of a brush. And my nose itches again. So now we're going to go into the setting brush. And we're going to really quickly start right here. So stop itching. Oh, my nose itches really bad. It's just my face is not used to makeup all the time. So it's like irritating my face. And also the brush is getting in my nose by accident. So what I'm kind of hoping happens with this powder that it lasts while we're trying to go through everything else. And then I'm kind of hoping I might have a little bit left. I don't know why, I just am. What? So any place that itches, I just kind of go like that. So we're actually going to do a mixture of powders. We're going to mix the set powder with the bright powder and see what that does for my under eyes. And then the nice thing about using a setting brush too is that you can easily wipe off any excess powder. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna mix a little bit of the, dang it, sorry, set powder, and a little bit of the bright powder, which is a pink powder. And we're going to see how well that works, because I don't know if the brightening powder is set and a bright, or if you have to mix the powders. I'm gonna say you're gonna have to set the powders. You know what I mean, like mix the powders. But it works. So I'm wondering if you have to mix the set and bake too. Okay. I don't know if you have to mix them. But I'm gonna look. Because it says right here. My lay brush on but can be used alone or together. Can be to complete any look. So you can mix them or you can use them alone. So they're all setting powders. Okay. Helps me. Alright. So now we're going to bronze the face with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Matte Bronzer. Oh, and while I'm doing this, I'll do two things at a time. The putty blush, I can see why it's a bestseller. It is very pigmented. Little goes a long way. It's a cream to powder formula. So even without powder blush, it will last all day. Um, it's very pretty and it's good for the price. So this, the bronzer I'm getting ready to talk about, I love too. I love that it's a matte bronzer. I do like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which is a shimmery bronzer because you cannot see the shimmer on your face. So it literally looks like a matte bronzer without being a matte bronzer. Anyways, I'm not talking about that. talking about this. It's a light bronzer, so it looks so natural on the face at the shade Forever Sunkiss. So this is just the perfect shade for me. It can get a little dark really quick though, just because I don't uh do that anymore with the bronzer. I just go straight in with the bronzer. So it can get pretty dark pretty quick, but that's what setting spray is for. It kind of tones it down. And I also like the over bronzed look because it just makes me look so natural. Kidding, but actually it does look so pretty sometimes. So where I would naturally sculpt out my cheekbones with the contour, I'm gonna do really lightly, light-handedly, do it with the bronzer, and sometimes you gotta like do a darker hand on it. Which makes me miss the Petty bronzer. But this works. And I'm using this angle blender brush. I don't remember the brand. It's showing up really well, actually. So I'm just going over. Alright. Alright. So now we're going into the angled crease brush and going into that bronzer with that brush. And we're going to first put it underneath the lip. Right here. For more of a pouty lip. And I was gonna do lips, but I gotta hurry. And then we're going to do the sides of our nose. So now, going into the e.l.f. Primer Infused Matte Blush and Always Cheeky. So I like how this blush is a sort of nude blush. So it goes over any blush, cream blush perfectly while still letting that cream blush show through. So it's a great ombre effect. It's great for the price. It's a great quality. It doesn't shatter. Like, shatterproof somehow. And it's just really great. So beautiful. Alright. So, e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss. I can see how this is a bestseller because it's a plumping gloss that doesn't feel tingly. Glossy lip stain, a really good glossy lip stain, and a really good stain left behind that lasts all day through eating, drinking, everything, wedding, tested, and e.l.f. Stay All Night. This really does stay all night. Um, well, all day and all night. And it's great for the price. It's like $10 for 2.7 fluid ounces, and it lasts me for many months. So, here is the full look. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!